in Nanjing. They reconvene in North London this afternoon. Well, it is one sighting of Spurs this summer for the home fans before the Premier League campaign begins. To the start they made in front of their fans, moving back to Wembley, or from Wembley in April. They do have a new name. Andre Mariner is the man in the middle for this one, experienced official. And Roberto Gagliardini coming back in place of Alessandro Bastoni. And new signing Nicola Barella have all scored twice in the 4 previous friendlies. Lamela and Lucas Moura supporting Harry Kane in attack. Made his return in Munich and is in from the start, the World Cup winner. Here we go then. Can Spurs make the statement they are hoping for in front of their own fans after as Walker Peters are running out of options at right back at the moment with injuries, and now Walker Peters is down after the challenge of Dalbert. Back to his feet by the Brazilian. Think he's going to be
already. The excitement is building. Moura's on the attack for Spurs now.
Might open up for Lucas Moura. This certainly falls into that category as well. Phil Blackett and Gary Breen, looking day of September. Spurs making good ground through Lamela before Lucas Moura takes over, takes on Skriniar and scores! Wonderfully well, Lucas Moura continues his excellent record in front of goal in pre-season. Well, it didn't take long, did it? Just a couple of minutes on the clock in their first fixture in front of their own fans this summer. And Lucas Moura gives Spurs the early lead.
It's a goal of the highest quality. Something you work on in training. They developed the 3v3 situation. Lamela now, the timing has to be right at the pass. It is. Moura's 1v1 v the inter-defender. And you've got to say, you're surprised that he showed him onto Moura's strong right foot. It's a brilliant strike to that near post. Handanovic, no chance, such was the pace of the strike. Brilliant goal by Spurs.
Does have options either side, he's still going here. A rangy run before Lucas Moura takes over.
They still have a couple of weeks left before their season starts, so they're certainly behind in fitness levels, energy.
Well, it was a challenge born out of frustration, I guess, having been dispossessed in the first place when he caught Walker Peters. Always the likely outcome, attempting the challenge from there. Here comes Spurs again, with Kane trying to muscle his way through the middle. Go past a lot of them.
They just can't compete wages.
There's Esposito, who did well to win it and deliver dangerous.
It will be.
Here comes Spurs with Sissoko. Quite capitalised.
They had a deal for Perisic, but Inter changed at the last moment.
Well, Perisic to have a hit.
And Ndombele straight ahead, just putting his hand up to apologise. Probably knows there you can't allow your ball to run across your...
And Frankfurt last season, he's won the free kick since he takes it, the new signing. Challenge is flying in again, it's Lamela once more that brings it away. Just overrun it a fraction. Syria. There's Danny Rose. He will win the free kick. It will be Harry Kane, and he knew from the moment it left his boot it wasn't accurate enough.
Too much height. Istanbul Tottenham in terms of how much space they're giving around that 10 area, but here comes Harry Kane, Tottenham's own 10.
Well, they've committed virtually everybody else forward for it. It will be Eric Lamela to take it. The new coach in charge. Inside foray forward once more. It was there to be hit. Brilliant effort, which beat Lloris and bounces back off the frame of the goal. Well, he caught it so sweetly.
What a strike. Lloris is at full stretch and still gets nowhere near that. And how that doesn't hit the inside of the post and go in is beyond me. What an effort.
We added some space for Dalbert to advance, taking on the back-pedalling Walker Peters. Does have men in the middle to aim for the crosses. Into the challenge so far this summer as Lamela. That's Sissoko taking over. Lucas Moura in the middle. Now Lamela
play.
Opens up for him because of that.
And the difference there is that Suso for AC Milan from that type of distance hit the target, got his team back into it.
Last week. And Walker Peters again had covered good ground before Harry Kane takes over. He did have Lucas Moura in the middle.
About him.
Here he is again, taking the ball from Walker Peters and delivering in towards Lucas Moura. Working it wide here for Esposito for Inter before continuing his run. Danny Rose had to be careful. Here they come again. Gagliardini, the furthest forward this time. Sensi trying to pick up the pieces, one on loan, but there's an obligation to buy him.
They're so complicated, aren't they, the deals now? They really are. And
closer to the start of the season. Now Inter have worked this wonderfully well, and here is the opening for the equaliser. It is taken brilliantly. Well, he's made a real difference, hasn't he, since signing this summer. Stefano Sensi kept his composure. He was close earlier in the half, no mistake this time. Tottenham 1, Inter 1.
Brilliant build-up play. Talked about how good Tottenham are defensively in terms of fullbacks narrowing to centre-halves, but they've been caught out by some brilliant play. Walker-Peters has switched off, there's no doubt about it. And the composure, Sensi initially looks at the goalkeeper. At first you think he's going to open up play first time, but he doesn't. Settles it with a brilliant first touch and makes Lloris collapse to the floor.
That's more of the man who started the scoring ahead of him. This is Sissoko. Deflection took the sting out of the shot, really. Handanovic for a moment wasn't quite sure where it was going.
But this season, and
well, Lucas Moura's won it back here. Handanovic got a... And still, he's done well to win that, even better to charge forward with it.
Thing that he needs to work on in terms of reading situations better, that he doesn't just look to win the ball on the front foot. The ball needed to be better, this one is.
And he gets it back from Sensi. Which might be the last action for many of these players today. Walker-Peters shut out by Brozovic. And Danny Rose, and still away from Candreva. He's looking for Lucas Moura. De Vrij got it. That is that for the first 45. Well, Maurizio Pochettino's competition, a final fixture for both of these clubs this year. Down, but with a little bit of room in which to work. Sensi flicking it forward almost inadvertently, had to try and improvise. Certainly remains here. Inter launching it long immediately, but it was the assistant on the far side that gave it Dalbert's challenge on Kyle Walker-Peters. Dalbert picking up the pieces, finding Perisic, squaring up to Alderweireld. Harry Kane. Eriksen arriving in support. This is Christian Eriksen.
The player on all day, and here's another one on the right-hand side.
In towards Dalbert, but it's too close to Hugo Lloris. Politano trying to make the most of it. Danny Rose trying to get back to him, and does get back to him, and comes away with the ball. Eriksen to Walker-Peters, who will try again to provide the service. The big boys forward from the back, De Vrij, Skriniar, obvious targets here.
Competitive, yeah. Mistake here though.
Handanovic giving it away to Eriksen, tees it up for Eric Lamela. The end here, they have a couple to try and pick out in the middle. Perisic didn't quite connect with the spectacular for the first couple of matches of the Premier League season. But a huge ovation for last year's out from the back. This is Dalbert. He's got a fair few to aim for. It's a wicked ball in, hits Sanchez. Perisic is the target. He's going to get there just ahead of Alderweireld. Even Perisic, but back with the Frenchman here. It will reach Lamela. Couldn't quite control it. Didn't have a lot of time to do so. This is the... Well, he will settle for the corner. Slips it back for Stefano Sensi. Skip is with him. Couldn't prevent the cross from coming in this time, but Alderweireld heavily involved since his introduction. Sensi takes over and works the 1-2. Couldn't quite pick his way through this time. There's a well-timed ball into the path, or at least the intended path of Puskas.
What a ball.
Oh, it's a brilliant ball. And there just wasn't quite the finish. Spurs substitutes are waiting to come on after this corner kick, which is cleared away by Lucas on the near post. Politano will get there in awkwardly, but Evanson Sanchez does his job once more.
Right place at the right time.
Politano. It is there to be struck. Barella had a sight of goal. Comfortable enough save in the end for Gazzaniga.
Well, Barella picks it up in that 10 area, hits it how...
As Son goes through the gears. It's still with Heung-min Son. Everything but the finish. He'd covered the length of the field before Handanovic makes the save.
Great play for
Tottenham Hotspur to take their turn first with Christian Eriksen. And it's saved by Handanovic. First kick of the shootout for Inter. And it's saved by Gazzaniga. Son for Spurs scores. Huge roar up against Gazzaniga. And we're all square, it's a really good penalty into... It's Chike and Kudu for Spurs here. How about that? And also scores with a powerful penalty. Took over the captain's armband earlier in the game. Toby Alderweireld scores emphatically. Politano picks out the top corner. Stepping up, Oliver Skip from the spot, saved by Handanovic. Up against Gatsanika. João Mario wins it wonderfully well, kept his composure. Victory on penalties for Antonio Conte and Inter.